Yeah, it's kind of 2023. Let's talk some limb lengthening. What's up, guys? Victor from Cyborg for Life. And first of all, I want to wish each and every one of you a very happy new year. I hope that 2023 is one of the best years of your life. I know that, over the years, I've appreciated all of your attention and viewership, and I hope 2023 is better for all of us. Now, today I wanted to talk about self-induced height dysphoria. Can constantly thinking about wanting to get taller create dysphoric thoughts, making you feel unhappy about your stature? And the answer can be pretty complicated, but then again, it's really not. So let's start from the beginning. What exactly is height dysphoria? Well, for those of you who don't know, height dysphoria is a mental anxiety or neurosis caused by thinking of your height, which subconsciously could possibly impact a healthy thought process. Since starting Cyborg for Life nearly 3 years ago, I've spoken to just about 1,500 prospective patients who've had varying degrees of height dysphoria, which led me to come up with the following ranking system. I like to think that there's 3 grades of height dysphoria depending on the severity of mental anxiety or unhappiness that you feel. So there's 4 categories: non-existent, mild, moderate, and severe. So the first category is the non-existent category. Their height is never really on their mind. They haven't heard of CLL. They may find it weird when or if they ever do. They don't know their exact height measurement, and they possibly just know a range or a guesstimate. Now, the next category, the mild category, this is where height dysphoria starts. And this is where, height can bother these prospective patients up to 25% of the time. They've heard of CLL, but may be considering other options, things like shoe lifts, therapy. They might think it's just a phase. They often have extended limb lengthening research phases that go on for weeks, months, maybe even years, okay? I've talked to a lot of patients who have consulted with me, and they've all said that they've been thinking about it for nearly 20 years. That's crazy. Many of these people know their height and maybe exact height after the doctor visits that they pay attention to. Now, the next category is the moderate category, where height bothers these prospective patients 25 to 75% of the time. They are very well versed in CLL. They understand how it works and have tried alternative solutions, realizing that limb lengthening is the only real way to get taller. They would get it done if not for the recovery time, costs, or having a weight-bearing nail. And these people know their exact height to 1 decimal point from the doctor visits. And the final category is the severe height dysphoria category. This is where the height bothers these prospective patients 75% or more of the time. These are the CLL diehards. They not only understand how it works, but also many of the surgical technicalities and offerings in the field. Some of these people even dabble into the theoretical alternative height increasing methods, and they would definitely get it done if not for the cost, weight-bearing nail not being available, having acceptable proportions at the end of the procedure, fear of developing a complication, having others find out about it, and not achieving their max height gain. They know their exact height, and sometimes to 2 or more decimal places, and they measure themselves multiple times a day with at-home measurements. So then the question is, can you self-induce height dysphoria? And the answer is yes, you can. You see, I think you can actually think yourself into having a dissatisfaction about your stature if you delve too deeply into the topic about your height. Asking yourself things like, what do they think about me at the holiday party? Or, I just can't take all this bullying at school. Or, will I ever get a date with a height like mine? And that's just to invoke the mild form of height dysphoria. Once you ponder it enough, it can become a slight addiction to the point where you're more infatuated with how your proportions will look after the procedure than the height you'll gain from it, thus creating a bigger problem than you started with. On top of self-inducing height dysphoria, I think some prospective patients can accidentally upgrade or, increase the severity of their neurosis by overthinking or delving too deep into the superficial reasons of why they should get stature lengthening done, rather than how it can make them feel better on a personal level. In other words, doing it for others can make it worse, whereas doing it for yourself and being satisfied after the fact can greatly reduce or even cure height dysphoria altogether. Now, what about the patients who actually go through with this insane procedure and get it done? How does limb lengthening affect height dysphoria? Well, I found that patients who are currently lengthening feel an immediate sense of relief, and their dysphoric thoughts drop off and fade big time. Even though they don't necessarily get to realize their new height because they're still technically lengthening and healing, it's the thought that it will improve their life that gives them mental reprieve. However, former lengthening patients, or those who are in the consolidation phase or beyond nail removal, they all mentioned that height dysphoria is very much reduced to the point where it no longer invades their thought process or interrupts their daily activities. In fact, some of them don't even think about height anymore at all, meaning that the physical process of limb lengthening has cured the mental dysphoria about their height. And that is pretty darn cool if you ask me. Now, although height can make a difference in various aspects of your life, you'll have to really reflect on whether it'll be worth the investment of time, money, physical and mental capital. The good news is, from the hundreds of actual stature lengthening patients who I've spoken to about this, about 90% or so have said that they're very happy and only regretted not doing it sooner. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know down below if you think that you've developed height dysphoria, and if so, to what degree. Also, do you think that getting stature lengthening and boosting your height will improve your life? Comment down below, let me know. And if you found the video helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe, and until next time, this is Victor from Cyborg for Life, signing out. Peace.